So thanks again, everybody, for joining our webinar this morning. My name is Jesse Heller. I'm the marketing manager, director at Fay Business Systems Group, and I'm here with Joni Girardi. Today, our webinar is going to be focusing on DataSelf's offerings, their business analytics tool. And Joni's going to speak to you about how we can, get more value out of your ERP and CRM investment. Just a quick bio about Joni before we begin. He's the enterprise level business. He's been in the enterprise level BI industry for 15 years, and he's the founder of DataSelf back in 2005. And since then, they've been delivering easy-to-use analytics and business intelligence solutions for medium-sized businesses, small to mid-sized businesses, using Tableau and Microsoft Business Intelligence technologies. And we're really excited to have him here today presenting. And Joni, I'm going to pass the presenter rights over to you. And as we go through the presentation, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out in the chat box or message me privately, and we'll get those addressed. So with that, Joni, I will pass it to you.
Thank you, Jesse. Can you give me control to the other, to the Joni VM?
VM, absolutely. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Let me get it control here. Can you see the mouse moving?
Yeah.
Okay, Jesse, thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited here to talk about how to get more value out of your ERP and CRM investment. Let me jump right into the presentation since the time is short. All of you here have already invested in a very good ERP and or CRM system. You have been using it for a while. You have lots of data in it. And one of the main areas where ERPs and CRMs are not so good at is getting information out of it. They usually come with a very good basic reporting framework that for the average company, it's fine. But if you need to really find critical trends in your business, where you're losing money, what the biggest opportunities are, or the biggest threats are, sometimes the data can tell you that information. And if you don't have easy access to it, you're just not making the best out of it. Most of this information is for business people. Business people, decision makers, they know the business, they know the clients, they know what's going on. But if they don't see the trends, they just don't know better. And sometimes when they're trying to find some information out of their data, if they need to call an IT person to explain, I need a new reporting, I need something different. Sometimes they have no time. They are in a call, in a meeting. They need more information. They don't get it. They have to make just decisions based on gut feeling, which sometimes is not the best, and move on. So a way to get more out of your investment is actually using what we call a self-service BI solution. A self-service BI solution is a framework that allows non-IT, kind of business people, decision makers, to easily access their reports and dashboards anytime, anywhere. They can be in the office, they can be on a coffee shop, they can be at the client side, at a vendor side, using a mobile device, such as a tablet, and being able to see their dashboards. Not only that, but they also have to be able to change things on the fly. Because sometimes there are new questions that they have about their business, about their operations, and there is no report to answer that question. So self-service means business users should be able to access the information, slice and dice it, drill down, export it in a framework designed for business people, not for IT. I've been working with Enterprise BI and Self-Service BI for over 15 years, and my goal as the company founder has always been bringing top-notch technology from Fortune 2000 companies that is usually too expensive, too complicated. So what we do is we make it simple, we make it affordable, we let companies using mid-market ERP packages take advantage of those without breaking the bank. So that's what we do. And let me jump and do a little bit of a product presentation to show how that works. And throughout this presentation, I'm going to cover a few different ways of looking at reporting and data analysis. I'm going to be showing how to build things from scratch, let's say detail-oriented reports. Sometimes you want to see, invoice level kind of reports. I want to show how easy it is to build a management type of dashboard, showing charts and maps and things like that. And then I'm going to show how users typically access their information using web and mobile devices. As I go through this presentation, I'm also going to be switching between product presentation and PowerPoint to show the concepts of how this solution is so powerful yet so easy to use. So I'm going to start with the first part, which is, I just want to build get some information out of my system, and I just want to use drag and drop capabilities. So because in this audience we have people from ERP and CRM systems, I want to focus most of the presentation on more sales-oriented analysis, even though we cover all sort of different analysis, sales, opportunities, purchasing, inventory, payables, receivables, financials, pretty much all information out of your systems. Now, on the sales side, and here I have what we call a sales connector, I'm looking at my sales information that come from the CRM as well as from the ERP. And in this example, we already have combined CRM and ERP information, so we can see invoiced sales along with, let's say, number of meetings and things like that from CRM together. So if I need to build, let's say, a sales report, I could, let's say, just drag my sales amount to my report. So this is the total sales, and I can, let's say, drag my dates to my rows, for instance. So right now, just by dragging and dropping, I can see sales by year. And everything here is kind of, point and click, easy drill down. So if I expand year, I can see sales by quarter. If I expand quarter, I can see sales by month. I can expand month, go to the day level, and so forth. So pretty much, I can drill down into more detail level information. Now, let's assume in my analysis here, I want to see some detail level information from my last quarter, which in this case, in my sample database, I only have last quarter information. So let me filter this information. I'm going to put dates in my filters. And when you're filtering, there are many ways you can filter information. If you're looking from a date standpoint, we have the traditional date buckets, years, quarter, months, weeks, so forth. And we have this relative date approach, which is usually the most popular. Usually when you're building, a data analysis or a report, you're looking at a time frame comparing to today's date. Like I want to see this year, this quarter, or same quarter last year, year to date, this year to date versus last year to date. So everything is comparison to today's date. So relative date helps with that. So let's see what we got here. So when we go to the next step, we see the year bucket, the time buckets, year, quarter, months, and so forth. You can choose any of them. And then you have these options, show always this quarter, previous quarter, last 3 quarters, next quarters, you name it, year, quarter to date. So this wizard is very simple, very intuitive, and will help you make a report that you'll not have to be changing the time period every time that you open it up. It's always related to today's date. So in our case here, because my sample database only goes through the last quarter of this year, I'm going to choose previous quarter. So this report would always be showing previous quarter. And let me put my year in my quarter in my columns to get now more detailed information. Well, what else want to see? Well, maybe I want to see customer information. I just drag and drop. I find the information in this list. Let's say customer. I drag to my rows. And there it is. I have sales by quarter by customer, last quarter. Maybe I want to break it down by invoice number, opportunity ID, whatever it is. You pretty much have to go and find the field and drag and drop. So I'm going to put invoice number here. So that I broke down by customer, by invoice number, total sales. Maybe I want to see product, if I sell product. Everything is drag and drop. Just find, let's say, product, drag into the report. And there we have by customer, invoice number, product. And pretty much that's it, building a new report from scratch, a tabular report, is pretty much finding fields, dragging and dropping and applying a filter. You can easily add sums, subtotals, and things like that. I'm looking at sales amount. Maybe I want to see quantity shipped. You just drag quantity shipped into the report and just move things around. So I have quantity shipped and sales amount. It's as simple as that. You can make the filter available here on the right. So if you want to change this, you can click here. Let's say I want to see the last 2 quarters instead. So I just change the filter, point and click. Actually, let's put the last 3 quarters because the current quarter would be part of, is not available. So there we go. We have quarter 2 and quarter 3 and quarter 4, which I have no data. But this is easy, and this allows an average user. You don't need to be IT. We have some of our users are CEOs of companies, vice presidents, controllers, CFOs, sales people, managers, and so forth. Business people with little training, they will be able to slice and dice, build reports from scratch anytime, anywhere. So this is an example of a detail-oriented report. Let me go back here to my PowerPoint and talk a little bit more about the framework. How do we accomplish such a easy-to-use reporting technology? Well, let me talk about user-centric approach. And here, why do I have a picture of myself with my mom and my dad? Well, my mom and my dad, they live in Brazil. I'm from Brazil, by the way, if you can tell my accent. And a few months ago, I went to my mom's 80th birthday. And my mom, she never used a computer in her life by herself. It was too complicated. When she wanted to email me or Skype with me, she would have to call a sibling, one of my siblings, to help her getting things done. She just couldn't do it. A computer is an expert-centric tool. If you haven't spent tons of time in it, you cannot even log in and use the mouse. It's too complicated. So last year, I gave my mom an iPad. And what is an iPad? An iPad is a user-centric computer. It's a very sophisticated device, it is, but it's designed for the average user that does not have IT background, doesn't have time to learn those things. Since I gave my mom the iPad, she's being able to check the weather, check the news. She Skypes with me and my siblings all the time, all by herself. She even has Facebook because the iPad is a user-centric computer. Well, what we provide is the iPad of reporting and dashboarding. Is a user-centric framework that an average user, a business person, a person who have no time to learn complex reporting tool, they will be able to slice and dice, build new reports from scratch without calling for an expert. On average, more than 70% of the custom reporting needs of an average user, they can tackle it by themselves using DataSelf Analytics. If you use competing products in the mid-market, they'll be expert-centric, meaning the business person, when they have a new request, they'll have to call an expert, sometimes in the IT department, accounting department, or even an external consultant, and wait. And sometimes it takes hours, days, and weeks to get a report together. I was talking with a client of ours that they had requested a report, and it took about 4 months for the reseller to put it together. 4 months. With our technology, it took, once we deployed the framework, the actual user was able to get the same report built from scratch in a few minutes. So it's incredible how much easier it gets for those things. So much easier to do things overall. Now let me show a little bit more of the product. So I showed how easy it is to build a detail level report from scratch. Let me now build from scratch a management type of dashboard. And in my dashboard, I want to see 3 pieces of information. I want to see a chart showing sales growing throughout the years by month. That's sales by month. I also want to see number of meetings from the CRM system and see how they relate with my sales. So I'll also see by month, both charts together. And finally, I want to see a sales by geography, sales by state, and how big the deals are, everything on a map. So let me put that together. So when I see sales, I want to drag sales to my report. I want to break it down by month. I'm going to drag months to my row, my column. So by month, I see sales growing. In my sample database, I have a multi-company framework, several ERP databases together. So I'm going to drag my company to my color shelf. So now for every company, I have a different line with a different color, and I see how they're doing. So that's my sales by company. Now I have a number of meetings from CRM already combined with my ERP information. So it's just sales related data. It's all together. I'm going to put my number of meetings in my report. So this is sales. This is number of meetings. And let me make the number of meetings bars, so it's easy to tell bars or number of meetings in sales or lines. And now I could see if there's any trends, more meetings, more sales or not, if it's seasonal or not. So I could start using that kind of an analysis. I also want to see by geography sales. So I could use, account address, bill to, ship to, whatever there's an address component, I can map that information. In this case, I'm going to choose the customer address, choosing the state level. I have deal size, that can classify my sales by small, medium, and large sales. And then I want to put all this information on a map. So I just chose what I want to see, and I click Show me this on a map. And the tool will automatically map it out. In this case, I have bubbles, bigger sales. And the slice of the bubble relates to how large the deals are. So very easy, in a couple of minutes, I was able to put together these 3 charts. Now I want to put all of them together on a dashboard. And people using iPads will be able to see that. So I put this iPad format. And now I drag and drop. So I'm going to drag my maps. I'm going to drag the charts that I built, and also the other, detail level report. Everything is drag and drop, easy, intuitive. As you can tell, I do not need to be an IT person. People with little training will be able to build these things from scratch without calling for experts. They'll be able to even do this using mobile devices, being very independent when it comes to reporting and data analysis. And when you give, decision makers, business people, that kind of, ease of use to pull data out of it, what's going to happen is they will make more informed decisions, therefore, hopefully, better decision, and they'll make the business more effective. So a way to get more investment from your ERP and CRM is to give your decision makers ways to easily get information out of those systems so decisions are better and the business can grow more quickly. Let me go back to another PowerPoint slide here. So this whole ease of use brings liberation for everyone. Now business people, because they have easy access to data, they no longer need to be bugging IT or accounting or external consultants all the time asking for new reports. They can do it. On average, more than 70% of the times, they can do it by themselves. While the other folks, the IT or accounting or the external consultants, they'll be liberated to do more high-value tasks. They're highly trained to do more value tasks, and usually reporting is something they're not so excited to do. So they're also liberated to focus on their own areas of expertise. Sorry. Not only that, not only we provide this self-service BI solution that is easy to use, but over the years, we have built more than 5,000 reports, dashboards, and KPIs out of the box. So DataSelf Analytics is easy to use and has these thousands of reports as a starting point. Many of your questions, and even questions you haven't thought about, are very likely to be answered by the 5,000 reports and KPIs. And we're going to show a little bit of that now. So I showed you how to build things from scratch, a detail level as well as management kind of reporting. How people will consume information. Will they have to be building things from scratch all the time? Absolutely not. Typically, business people are super busy. They just need to pull these reports out of, something ready and easily available. There are many ways to do that. They can use a web browser. They can use mobile devices, and there are apps for that. When they log on to this portal, they will see their own reports and dashboards. So let's say if I'm the CEO, I'll see the CEO dashboards. If I'm from the sales team, I will see the sales team dashboards. Now, when I open one of these dashboards, let me open one of them here. Let's say top customer by sales. When I open this dashboard, the tool can be configured that this dashboard is the same for all salespeople. However, it will only show the information that I have rights to. So if I were the rep for California, these would be the top customers in California. The rep in Florida opens the same dashboard and views top customers in Florida, while the the VP of sales opens the same dashboard and views the top accounts across all territories. So same dashboard helping or delivering the information based on the user credentials. Now, these dashboards that we have more than 5,000, we have all sort of dashboards. This is a kind of top performer dashboard. We have here the top customers, and we have bars showing how big the sales is this year to date. The color of the bars are represented by gross profit, as well as we have this gross profit in black dots in the top axis. If in my business profitability is something important, once I learn how to read this dashboard, next time that I open it up, it's going to take me seconds to figure out of my top customers which ones are not so profitable, and maybe I have to work better with those accounts. So these dashboards were designed to be insightful. Once you learn them, next time on an ongoing basis, you will very quickly learn the critical trends, and then you can spend more time fixing the problems or taking advantage of the opportunities instead of spending time figuring what's going on. Get the insight and move on. We have lots of those reports showing top performers. We also have analysis looking at the tip of the growth curve of your major key performance indicators. And the tip of the growth curve typically is important. Things that are growing the most or decline the most are important. Looking at sales, maybe quantity on hand, maybe cost increases, maybe expenses, you name it. This is an example from a sales standpoint. This dashboard shows here the axis on the left is sales change since last year to date. And these are the top customers by sales growth since last year. Very likely happy customers, they're buying a lot, salespeople are working with them closely, maybe no problem. But what about the top customer by sales decline? Why are they declining? Is there something you can do to fix it? Well, you need to know who they are first and see if there's something wrong to fix the problem if there's any. Maybe competition is knocking the door, maybe they're not happy, and if you don't act proactively in a timely fashion, they may be gone for good. So the point is checking the tip of the growth curve of your key performance indicators is critical, and this tool has lots of reports showing those trends, and it's very easy for the average user to build new ones from scratch. Now, people can also access their dashboards and reports using web and mobile devices, but sometimes they just want to receive by email in a given schedule, so they don't have to go to the web. They don't have to open their, let's say, their dashboards. Well, suppose I'm looking at here a commission report that shows my sales accumulating throughout the days of the month, and this is my goal. I'm still on the 22nd of the month, so I'm still, hopefully going to cross my sales target. And this is the sales commission accumulating throughout the month. Well, maybe I want to receive this report refreshed every Friday night, and then I can see if over the weekend I can spend some extra money in my shopping or my party, let's say. Well, I can just come here and click subscribe and tell how often I want to receive this dashboard. I schedule a subscribe, and now every Friday night I will get an email showing exactly the status of my sales and commissions. And if by any chance I need to dive into the information to slice and dice it, I can click on the email, it will jump right into the dashboard, and then I can do further analysis. Again, self-service BI. Every person has their different needs. They work a little differently. This tool was designed to accommodate specific needs and help decision makers make more informed decisions anytime, anywhere. Let me show two more examples of the dashboards. And as I mentioned, we have over 5,000 covering all sort of different analysis. Let me show here what we call exception reporting. Exception reporting is another critical way of looking at data, typically looking at things that are no longer happening. This is a good example. This dashboard shows me customers who are no longer buying. And we have 4 different buckets here. Buying the last 60 days, but not in the last 30 days. Buying the last half a year, but not in the last 2 months, and so forth. So why are these customers no longer buying? Maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. Knowing who they are is the first step towards hopefully fixing the problem. And typically, when you are dealing with your business, people are trying to see the pipeline. How can we get, more sales from a marketing standpoint, or trying to get discounts? Well, sometimes there are a bunch of customers that are just, leaving your business, and if you don't look at trends like this or top decline, you just don't know until it's too late. So this technology, again, is easy to use, easy to build new reports, and has a lot of out-of-the-box reports designed to give you insights into those critical trends. Now, once I take these reports, how easy it is to change them on the fly using a mobile device, for instance. Let me show an example. Let me take a sales by geography dashboard. So assume that I'm in a meeting, I'm the VP of sales, and I'm meeting the West Coast team with my iPad. So I open this dashboard to see how things are going. In this, I have sales for the whole country. Well, I can use my fingers on the iPad and select only the West Coast states. When I do that, the dashboard filters and only shows me salespeople selling to those, West Coast states and what products has been shipped. Well, what if I want to see only what Sam has been selling? I click on Sam, and now the dashboard changes again, and this is only Sam sales in those 3 states and what he's been shipping. So making changes like this is very simple, very intuitive, and pretty much any business person will be able to learn how to do this even by themselves. Of course, we provide training, but the intuitive of this solution is so intuitive that many people learn how to do this with no training. Now, what if I'm a power user and I can actually, if I want to slice and dice this report dramatically? Well, then if I'm a power user, I'll have the edit button, let's say on my tablet. I click on it, and now I have a powerful user interface that allows me to extensively change this, just like I showed at the beginning of the presentation. I can come here, I want to see numbers, I want to, see product line. You just drag and drop. You can change the report extensively using your finger on your tablet, and you get the result. So very intuitive, and this gives decision makers access anytime, anywhere to find pretty much any information by themselves without having to call for experts. All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint to wrap up my presentation. How do we do it? Well, as I mentioned, we have been delivering enterprise-level analytics for for the mid-market for about 14 years. This is Gartner Magic Quadrant. Gartner is one of the most reputable companies doing technology assessment for Fortune 2000 companies. In every February, they release how the top vendors are performing for BI and analytics. So this is the latest. And Tableau and Microsoft are currently considered the leaders in BI and analytics in the upper market. Tableau is the best solution for dashboarding, self-service analytics, and Microsoft is the best vendor for BI infrastructure. What about them? What about DataSelf? Well, what DataSelf is actually, it's a bundle of products using Tableau, which is the leader for self-service BI, SQL Server, which is the leader for BI infrastructure. We add our own technology that eliminates programming from this other technology, so it's easy to deploy, easy to maintain. And we deploy more than 5,000 dashboards, reports, and KPIs out of the box. So we enhance and we simplify these top market vendors. So at the end of the day, you get a user-centric technology, pretty much nothing but the best of what's available for Fortune 2000 brought for mid-sized companies. It's fast to deploy, usually takes hours of days to deploy the solution. You get expertise. We've been doing this for over 14 years, working with analytics BI and mid-market ERP and CRM systems. And this solution costs a fraction of if you try to do it by yourself. The cost right now, you can get this going for a few $1,000s, you can get the solution. So it's really affordable. It would take you usually 6 figures if you try to build it from scratch using, just hiring more people to do that. We also have some good news. We have an end-year promotion, and for people who attended this webinar, it's a little bigger. So if you place orders by the end of the year, there's 10% off licenses. So if you're interested, I would highly encourage you to talk with Faye and with us to take advantage of it. And I'm going to open for questions and answers now.
Thanks, Joni. Yep, we do have a few questions. I'm going to kind of take them one at a time. There are quite a bit here. So that's good. And it was really, really interesting. So again, thank you. So you mentioned, obviously DataSelf, is an enhancement, but the application as far as importing data from the other sources, can it do that?
Good question. Let me go to our website to show how to find this answer in case you need to remember in the future. If you go to dataself.com and go to analytics by product and go to software architecture, this is how our solution is architected. This would be your ERP, CRM, and other data sources. Any data source can be brought into DataSelf Analytics. The way we do is we take this data and we bring into a ultralight SQL Server data warehouse, and we use a pretty much code-free environment to bring that data over. Then this data is pushed to a web server, which can be deployed on premises or in the cloud. And then at the end of the day, users will be able to pull data using, desktop and web and mobile devices. So the answer is yes. We can pull data from any data source. Out of the box, we already have mapped the most popular ERP and CRM systems. And if you put the mouse over this, you can see the list of ERP and CRM that we already have mapped out of the box. And we're always enhancing this list. But adding more data sources is pretty straightforward. Sometimes even business people can do some of those data blending, as we call. And once you get that done, it becomes so much. Just to show you back here to this desktop client, here is an example where we have ERP information and CRM combined. Once the combination is done behind the scenes, now for a business person, it doesn't matter where the data comes from. It's just part of your sales analysis or your financial analysis. It can come from Excel. It can come from Access, other data sources. I hope I have answered the question.
Great, thanks, Johnny. So you did mention earlier, the simple and ease of use, and there's not really much training that's really needed. But if somebody did want to get trained on the product, how would they go about doing that?
Yep, good question. Thanks, Jesse. So training, when we sell the solution, typically we include a few hours of training to cover the basics. So we always add a few hours of, instructor-led web live training. However, we have many of our users that they go to our website learning, training videos, and there are actually dozens of videos available that are used by our users to get trained. So we offer both approaches. One is instructor-led, which is usually the first, couple of hours, 3-4 hours. And then after, typically people start using the videos as complement. Some of our clients, they get zero training, they get self-sufficient from the beginning. Some of our clients, they like more hand-holding, so we provide more services. So the good news is we have resources, either through instructor-led or self-service videos. That's how people usually get trained.
Okay, great, thanks. And then, in our audience, we have a lot of Sage users. How do you feel you compare, with Sage Intelligence?
Very good question. We get this question all the time. Let me go back here to this slide. So Sage Intelligence, it's, we've been working with Sage for 14 years. And Sage, every few years, they embrace a new BI framework, and usually it's much better than the prior version. So Sage has been doing much better when it comes to BI solutions. And Sage Intelligence is the latest and greatest, and is definitely an evolution. However, it's a mid-market BI solution. We consider an entry-level BI that is good for certain companies. Is still we call expert-centric. People who are going to be doing reporting, slice and dicing, will have to spend days and sometimes weeks to get trained. So it's fairly expert-centric. It's easier than Crystal. It's easier than Excel. It's easier than Access. Yes, it is, but still requires an expert to be, the person supporting the business users. We, on the other hand, we are bringing Fortune 2000 technology, and pretty much right now nothing but the best technology that brings ease of use to decision makers. So we focus on easier user-centric approach. Our solution is more expensive, not a lot more, but is more expensive than Sage's. But the benefit is it's really user-centric, it's really empowering, and will let, as I mentioned, more than 70% of the customer reporting needs to be tackled by people who know the problems, who know the opportunities. They know what's going on. They can take a report, slice and dice it without having to call an expert and explain, and that's not efficient. So the main difference between ours and pretty much all other mid-market BI vendors is we use Fortune 2000 enterprise-level technology designed to be empowering anytime, anywhere, while the mid-market offerings are more expert-centric. Business people will still rely on someone in the organization to do the custom reports pretty much all the time. So
yeah, great. There was an additional, question about, I think you may have answered it as far as how you compare to Domo when it comes to.
Yep. Domo is not yet in this Gartner Magic Quadrant, but I think they will soon start to appear because Domo is also a kind of Fortune 2000 BI player. So they're also tackling into the mid market. However, when you compare Domo and Tableau, you'll see that Domo, even though they have nice dashboards and reports, the way to build and to customize is not as easy as what we use. So ours is more empowering, is easier to use. And our solution, I think, as a big value is Domo pretty much does not have a lot of out-of-the-box reports and KPIs for the mid-market ERP packages. Everything you have to start from scratch. It typically will take about a year or two to get to what we get out of the box from us. So when you look at DataSelf Analytics, we have a better framework than Domo, which is Tableau, and we have more than 5,000 reports and dashboards as a starting point. So it's so much more value getting solution from us than from Domo in our perspective.
Okay, great. Yeah, and then as far as that 1 to 2 years, I guess there's one final question about deployment of your solution, and I know you touched on it a little bit, but maybe you can remind us a little bit, just what's the time frame we can expect on how long we would really take to be up and running.
Yep. So from a labor standpoint, how long does it take to deploy the solution is hours. Of course, usually it takes a couple of weeks to get the coordination, get the server available, remote access, but typically we deploy the solution in hours. Typically, there is customizations required, optional fields, user-defined fields. So in real life, most of our systems, people start to get trained about a month later. That's the average time it takes, even though from a labor standpoint, typically in a few hours, like 8, 16 hours of effort from our team, the solution is deployed. So that's the amount of effort to get the out-of-the-box deployed, and usually in about a month times of framework because of remote access, when the team is ready to be trained, and so forth.
Okay, great. And I know we're coming up. We've gone a couple minutes over, but if you don't mind, there is one more question that we just got, and it was as far as the ERP products, which products are supported. I know there's quite a bit of enhancements, but.
Yep. So in our website, dataself.com, if you come to analytics by product, you can see here all of these ERPs are supported by us out of the box. And if you choose any of them, let me say Sage 100, for instance, when you go to the Sage 100 page, you have more details such as, what versions of Sage 100 are supported. There is recorded webinars. There is here a bunch of additional documentation such as the list of reports and KPIs. So if I click on this link, here I have a description of what modules are available out of the box, how many reports and KPIs are available, and you can download the complete list, which is an Excel file. So let's take a quick look. This is again the documents, and if I go to sales, there's about almost 1,100 reports, and I come here and I can see there's reports by customer or reports by product. So you can just come here and see all of these details. So use our website as a resource, and of course, if you're interested, give us a call. We'll be glad to go over more specific details, make more comparisons. We're here to help you make informed decisions, either if you're going to make an investment in us or just get to know more about BI and analytics.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Joni, again, and thank you everyone for participating today. We will continue our series with DataSelf in the next quarter of this coming year, so we're happy to present again, and make sure to take advantage of the end of the year offer that's currently happening. And we will be sure to all those attended to get a recording out to you today or tomorrow at the latest, so you can share that with your team and hopefully make an informed decision together by then. So Again, thank you, Joni, and thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the week and happy holidays. And we will see you soon.
Jesse, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, folks. I hope you have a